É isso aí, galera. Vamos para mais uma jogatina. Estamos aí nas quartas, né, meu? Vou pegar ali o Anderson Silva contra. Mais um americanizado aí. Mais um americano. Ah, mano, é o Shaw. Shaw Sanders. Ixi, meu. Tiração, hein, mano.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Chael Sonnen. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former UFC middleweight champion and the member of the UFC Hall of Fame, Anderson, the Spider Silva.
You ready to fight? Ready.
All right, so the referee has called a halt to the action here, likely to have the doctor come in and look at the
Nem começamos, mano. O cara já tá tudo arrebentado. O cara não tem condições, a gente já se classificou. Foi só pra cumprir tabela. Eu coloquei para manter a... Ele se arrebentou todo, ele falou que só para cumprir tabela. Então a gente vai diretamente para a semifinal do Anderson Silva.
Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor has called a stop to this fight. Declaring the winner by TKO, Anderson, the Spider Silva.
So another win tacked on to the total of one of the most decorated champions in UFC history. Anderson Silva does it again and really thought he looked sharp tonight. You can tell early on in the fight, the future Hall of Famer, Anderson Silva, getting it done in a big way here tonight.
Vamos lá, se classificando. Ensino lá a rodada. Dois brasileiros também. Também a gente vai descansar.
Our tail of the tape for this middleweight fight. We go inside the octagon. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Michel
Vai disputar em toda, né? Semifinais clássico, hein?
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former UFC middleweight champion and the member of the UFC Hall of Fame, Anderson, the Spider Silva.
You ready to fight? You ready?
So here he is, the Muay Thai stylist,
tá com problema.
product Anderson
Tá com
Silva.
problema.
We'll see how he approaches the
Deu
early
pau.
going here tonight. He has been a fast
Tem que
starter.
fazer um novo
Most of his
torneio.
UFC appearances have ended in round 1
Tá
or
com
round
pau.
2. We'll see how Silva approaches this challenge here early.
Vai, Bahia. Foi pra final sem. Porque essa opção de manter o físico dos caras, as lutas.
All right, let's go inside the octagon now to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and
Vai ser
gentlemen,
campeão,
the
tá?
doctor has called a stop to this fight.
Vou lutar nenhuma luta.
TKO, Anderson, the Spider Silva.
Well, he is still considered by some to be the greatest to ever do it, and Anderson Silva certainly did it tonight. What a performance for the future Hall of Famer. He let his myriad skills take over and made it look relatively easy at times. Big W for the Spider under the lights tonight.
Estamos na final, então vamos ver, né?
Well, with respect to Paul Mirju Craig and Andre Muniz, two of the recent victims for Brendan Allen, this is the biggest submission threat right now in the UFC's middleweight division. Top contender Brendan Allen. He has won 6 consecutive fights. He has been rewarded with UFC main events. He has won those fights. And a lot of people believe the top guys don't necessarily want to fight Brendan Allen because of the danger factor on the ground. Trains out of Kill Cliff FC, forging himself, building himself up, training alongside high-level strikers every day. Seems right now, as we look at Brendan Allen, 28 years of age, it's an eventuality that one day he will fight for the world title. Well, he still owns the record for the longest title reign in UFC history, nearly 2,500 days. Anderson the Spider Silva, and I guess, DC, with no mandatory retirement age, this guy might go forever.
Anderson Silva is one of the greatest fighters of all time. One of the guys that when you think of mixed martial arts, you think of the UFC, you immediately think of the Spider. You think of the highlight reel, winning the belt from Rich Franklin, the up kick on Vitor Belfort, the knee against Stephan Bonner, the bobbing and weaving against Forrest Griffin. He has a highlight reel a mile long, one of the most fantastic martial artists the sport has ever seen.
And still proving to be competitive in his mid-40s. That is the goal again tonight. One of the best to ever do it, Anderson the Spider Silva. Spider Silva enters the octagon with his mind set on one thing tonight, that UFC championship. belt. All right, now our tale of the tape for this middleweight championship fight. All right, we send it back inside the octagon. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC middleweight championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Brandon now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Anderson, the Spider Silva!
Herb Dean, our referee for this one. So here we go at the start of round 1. Anderson Silva didn't even go to a decision from 2004 to 2009. He has been a fast starter. Most of his UFC fights ending in round 1 or round 2. We'll see how he approaches the early going here. Brendan Allen gets caught by the inside leg kick. Bleeding now, nasty cut on his nose. Missed with that attack. Allen gets the single leg takedown. Going orthodox now. Allen gets the early takedown. Oh, he's back up again. You gotta like that.
Beautiful shot lands to the leg there.
Doing a real nice job with these leg kicks, trying to slow his opponent down, and largely succeeding. Whiffs on the straight right hand. All right, we'll see if he has any response here. His opponent continues to land. A lot of swelling upstairs.
Well, you got to move your head. You got to be preemptive. You not wait until your opponent starts to throw something in your direction. You got to avoid right now if you want to avoid having this become an issue. Oh, nice.
Que execução! Ao título!
Just the way he drew it up. He found the opening and capitalized on it to the utmost extent. Nicely done to finish the fight. The official decision is in. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean's called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 33 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout and new UFC middleweight champion of the world, Anderson, the Spider Silva!
Well, his smile lights up the room, and his performance lit up this arena tonight. Congratulations to the wildly popular Anderson Silva. No matter where we go in the world, Silva about as beloved and respected as it gets, and you've got to think he still enjoys a win of this magnitude.
But death in your destinies. Set the template from what I've written on a piece of paper. And if I were, we won't be needed any mediator. Feeling confident, then they spot that I'm studying. They're claiming they didn't hear, but they know that they understood him. Other than up, it's nothing on out, and yeah, the jobs are good. But in the deep, we got them drowned in the under.
Yes, champion! Sério, 2 jogos anulados, cara, tá tudo quebrado, vieram com pó da rabiola. Eu posso fazer. É isso aí, galera. Valeu!